And especially as you meet these people from different backgrounds, right? Many times you are confronted with ideas or beliefs which are very different from your own, right? And in your long journey, what are some of those ideas or beliefs that you have formed which are which very few people agree with you on?
I don't know whether very few people agree, but I think some of the most common ideas which I found, which are inspiring for myself as well
Mm-hmm.
as many of the people I interact with, is sometimes one of the most common things I found is you don't need to have a very special insight to really inspire people. It's always a series of small moments which really end up making a big difference in the journey on the way back.
Mm.
Like one very common aspect I saw, because as I mentioned, I moved across domains. And one of the most fascinating things for a lot of youngsters is how can you really move across domains?
Mm.
And the most common response I give is I did not plan for moving across the domains, but and once you are ready with your skill sets at the right opportunity, you will get that. So a lot that kind of connect or your ability that you will be able to do well in a new circumstances, in a new situation or in a new domain also comes from having empathy.
Mm.
So one very common core which I have found a lot of connect is one should have a deep empathy with your customers, with the industry people, and with your team. Because
Mm.
with true empathy, you will be able to get insights which are not really normally available.
Mm.
The second very important thing I think is whether it is a team or whether it is the customers or any other stakeholders. One always need to have a belief that you are doing something which is really going to make a difference. You are not just doing a job. You are not just doing your KRA. Moment if the teams or the customers really believe it, the customers will actually pay you a premium if you are able to convince that what you are doing is actually going to be good for their business. You are not the cheapest viable
Mm.
alternative, but you are building a responsible business which will actually be a sustainable business. Same way, if you are able to inspire your teams, building, it may seem small, it may seem nascent, but
Mm.
what you are building, you are actually building seeds for the future. In that case, the team will be inspired and will give their 200%, even without you asking for, can you take the stretch? Because you've enabled it. And the third most important aspect is then there at all times there needs to be an absolute clear communication for a value addition. That whether it is your customers, whether it's your vendors, whether it is your family, there should always be, can you leave each and every person a bit better than how you were even 5 minutes before or
Mm.
5 years back? And if you are able to do that, then ultimately all of it always boils down to relationships, right? People will always boil down. So even whether I have worked in a Crisil 30 years back or a Tata's 15 years back, everywhere they are still my seniors, my peer groups, my juniors, who would still know what's happening in each other's professional life, personal life. And when you have that connect, you
Mm.
never have to ask for anything, because then they will believe in it and they will work on it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for summarizing this so well. I think what you shared earlier, what you have summarized is a secret of building, scaling, and transforming businesses, right? So empathy for the customer allows you to see what you cannot see otherwise. So that insight, and then you are adding value, and you said something wonderful that you can actually charge a premium, right? And many times we can get fixated with money, but I think if you can understand value, you can not just increase like the value offering, but also the profitability or the way that your organization itself is run. And also you mentioned about connecting or believing that you're making a difference, which is directly tied to making those relationships stronger and those bonds stronger, where people actually want to give 200%, not like leaders pushing people to do. So thank you for sharing that, Sanjay.